Hi guys, Jack from 597 Promotions here. I'm at Double Oyster, lovely recording studio in Whitstable. I'm here with Pete Riff Monkey Humphries, who is an accomplished musician. He's a Bloodstock veteran. Well, I say accomplished musician. He's a veteran of Bloodstock. He's played 7 times there. He is currently head judge at Metal to the Masses Kent, and he's been doing that for 4 years. Mm-hmm. He's also a judge in Metal to the Masses London. Was a judge in Metal to the Masses London, and is a judge in Metal to the Masses Essex. He's also been a radio DJ in his time, and he's currently the leader of 2 local groups, Godless Suns and Riff Dealer. So, thanks for coming along.
It's lucky I don't have an actual job then, I suppose.
Yes, yeah. I do. I'm a cleaner. First off, I've always wondered this. When did you receive the nickname Riff Monkey, and who gave it to you?
Christ, I believe it was Kay Sayers and Rob Honeyman's doing a gig when one of them drunkenly remarked that I looked like some sort of orangutan with a guitar. And I went, like, that's what? Nice, and I said, what, like a Riff Monkey or something like that? And I thought nothing of it until a week later I received a doodle of a chimp playing a fucking Dean ML, which is my guitar of choice at the time, with the word Riff Monkey underneath.
Right.
And it kind of just sunk in.
Yeah. Fair dues. When did you first start thinking about being a musician, and what inspired you to do so? Take us all the way back to the beginning then.
Oh, God. So old. Memory's failing. So I grew up in a crappy little provincial town on the east coast of Essex where it's great to have kids that will wait to die. Right. So there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And cycling to Clacton as like a 14-year-old kid to go into pubs illegally to watch really bad covers bands playing like shitty Extreme and Iron Maiden covers and badly doing Enter Sandman and stuff like that was certainly part of the inspiration. My old man was a bass player in the 60s, used to play for a band called The Click. I don't think there's any recorded music out there, so I wouldn't bother looking it up. Had a couple of buddies that played guitar. I started to learn, never thought anything of it really. And then I got 16, 17, I think. I met the guys from Feral in a pub in Walton getting absolutely trashed and being absolute rock and roll stars. And I just coattailed. The bass player quit. I went, I can play bass. Couldn't. Went and bought a bass, learnt that weekend, went for an audition, and there's like 9 musicians where I grew up. So I got the part, and then that was it. What's that? That would have been 97. So nearly 30 years of playing live.
As long as I've been born.
Oh, bless.
Nice.
I was just born earlier.
It's often how it happens, isn't it? Like like a lot of guitarists will pick up a bass to be in a band, won't they? And then it can sort of go from there.
I was still really early. Like I'd been playing guitar maybe a year and a half, 2, possibly at the outside. So yeah. I wasn't really a guitarist or anything. Yeah. I was just learning.
Dabbling, yeah.
And I think the fact that I started with bass has sort of moulded how my whole career has been. It's everything I do is very riff and groove based.
Yeah.
Because without a good riff and a good groove, your music's numb and uninteresting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's all well and good to be like the fastest shred monkey in the world or do 300 BPM double kick blast beats and stuff like that. But is it really interesting? Yeah. Are you going to dance to that? Or are you just going to go, fuck, that guy's amazing? But once you've done that 10 times, you're like, yeah, could you do something else? So, but I was never that good, so I just make myself feel more comfortable by being crap and fun.
They play so fast, but they got no feel, bro. Like,
yes, that's it. It's all about the feel.
So you could have been Shred Monkey, but you became Riff Monkey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also played with a lot of guitar players that made me go, no. I'm never going to be that good.
Yeah, fair dues. What are some of your biggest influences then, like band, artist-wise, and do they still have an effect on your music today? As
a bedrock, yeah, there's like the 5 that I'll always pull up as like my guitar heroes, as it were. But when it comes to the music that I play, I'm not faddy. That's the wrong way of saying it. I don't like to stagnate. I like to have an evolution. So when I was growing up, it was all Metallica, right? Hence my love of the riff, right? James Hetfield's downpicking and those scolding riffs. I mean, think what you like about the band, but you can't take that away from them. Yeah. And guys like Dimebag with that the feel and the groove. I mean, the worst guitar tone of all time.
Yeah.
You're never going to mistake it for anybody else.
No, yeah.
And it fitted Pantera perfectly, but what a guitar player.
Yeah.
He's still having an effect now.
Totally,
and,
yeah.
you know, he peaked his career 30, 35 years back.
Yeah.
That's, you know, you can't say that about many.
Yeah. Very mid-rangey, wasn't it? Very.
No mid-range, none.
No mid-range.
Literally no mid-range at all.
Scoops, yeah.
If you said mid-range to Dimebag, he'd probably throw a lit joint at you and tell you to shut up.
Yeah.
Pepper Keenan from Corrosion of Conformity, for those big, swaggering, bluesy licks and stuff that they do with Corrosion and stuff like that. Kurt Weinstein from Crowbar, another massive, like just that tune it the fuck down and pay attention to the groove.
Yeah.
You know, and then be interesting. And I learned discordancy from them, because everything's like, when you start off, it's all root fifths and stuff like that, and then you learn the pretty harmonies and everything's in a major key. And I thought, wait a minute, what's all this dissonance and disharmony? So I went down that route and I thought, oh, this is way more fun. But yeah, I mean, nowadays I get really turned on by bands like Slaughter to Prevail, man, Lorna Shore, fucking, not really, the guys, it's more people in bands as well, like, what's his name, Will Ramos, an unbelievable vocal talent. I mean, I can give or take the music 9 times out of 10, but man, that boy's got a voice. Tatiana Schmaluk from Ginger. Again, that's sort of like ridiculously complicated post-gent jazz thing, which is all hyper-technical. So I couldn't give a monkey's, but that woman's voice is just off the charts. But I suppose the biggest influences of the last 20 years would be Gojira and Lamb of God, because they are solid groove hounds.
I do like Gojira and Lamb of God, they're good.
They're really such unbelievable groove hounds. They're slaves to the fucking riff, and they give it the beans every time I've seen them live. So yeah, that's pretty
amazing.
much it.
I like how you've I like how your tastes have kept up with what's coming out as well, instead of just getting like lost in the past and like with the old groups and
it's
stuff.
one of the things we were saying before we put the cameras on. Like, one of my least favourite things in heavy metal is guys my age, I'm nearly 50, kids, is that gatekeeping attitude. Oh, if you can't name 5 songs off the first Black Sabbath album, or oh, you need to listen to more Iron Maiden, or oh, you need to pay your dues to Motorhead. It's like, no, people don't. If your intro to heavy metal is Baby Metal, great, because I don't go, they're cool, right? How about no, and such, and like, that's where you that's how you expand it. Doesn't matter how. My first band ever was The Almighty. The first band that I found myself that I got into wasn't my dad's influence or anything like that. I had a healthy diet of AC/DC, Hawkwind, Motorhead, ZZ Top, like you do back in the 80s.
How could you not? I mean, they were so...
Fuck, I'm old. But it's... So, you know, it doesn't matter how people get into it. I mean, if you got into it on Linkin Park and Papa Roach and stuff like that, great, because nowadays you're listening to all the newer stuff. Motionless in White and all of those guys. I mean, it doesn't have to be my bag. I'm not here to tell you what is cool. I'm just fucking stoked that you're here paying money to go and watch gigs. That's the point.
That's a really optimistic mindset.
You know, and play the instrument. Otherwise, everything's going to die. Guitar players are their worst enemy. Like any sort of like technological progression tends to be met with, oh no, I just want a 59 Les Paul and a Marshall JCM 800. Which sounds great, but I'm not going to be able to crank out Viking by Slaughter to Prevail on that, because it's going to sound very strange.
No, that's a really good mindset.
Plus, I'm kind of allergic. I say that, and I'm still a valve amp and a guitar guy.
Well, you have your preferences, don't you?
I'm just too fucking lazy to learn all the technical shit.
All the amp sims, amp and cab sims.
Anyone says I sound bad is wrong.
Have you got a Quad Cortex?
I would like one.
Helix.
I think Quad Cortex would be the way I went if I did do digital.
So, in terms of like the radio DJing and all that, you had a show called Trashed, Lost and Strung Out on TBFM with DJ Bedlam. That was some years ago now. It
was his show I sort of co-opted into.
Right, yeah. Can you tell us more about that? So what was with that?
I forget why I got invited on. I think it was just, me and Bedlam have been mates since about 2009, 2010 maybe. And I love Bedlam. I miss him a lot. He lives in the Midlands now. So it's one of those things where I'll see him like 2 or 3 times a year maybe, and we get horribly drunk and reminisce. You know. I don't know what happened, actually. I think I just said, oh, dude, do you want to co-host? And he went, I'll give it a swing, and if it sucks, then you can fuck off. And I basically sort of like, because I talk all the time, and I'm sure that there are people who are watching this pinching the bridge of their nose going, yeah. Because I talk pretty much all the goddamn time, I kind of just co-opted it, and we became like this weird sort of like tag team. Like, I'd do all the news, and he'd take the piss out of me, and he'd cut my mic off, and we'd have great fun. And we had similar but different enough musical tastes for it to be an entertaining and engaging show. Mm-hmm. I think we were the second maybe rated or third rated on TBFM at the time. We did our final show when we were told that we were going to be let go. We did it at the Dev in Camden, live with an audience.
Right.
And if you can define chaos,
complete disaster.
I think we got the microphones working and the board working literally 10 minutes before we had to press the button and start.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I think that podcast is still available on SoundCloud somewhere. I might have to send you a link so you can put it in the YouTube thing or something.
Go check it out.
It was good fun. I missed doing it, but I haven't found anyone who I have that sort of natural bounce chemistry with. Because when I've got a face for radio, so you have to have that natural vocal bounce with each other and that natural rhythm and immediate sarcasm and banter without, you know, feeling awkward or forced or like it's been learned or you're sort of coaching. It's got to be. I haven't found anyone to do it with, so I just haven't bothered.
Reading out a script, you know.
Just none of that stuff.
It seemed like it supported a lot of like unsigned artists. Like,
it was
the
purpose of it was to highlight Metal to the Masses bands.
You're right. Yeah.
As was the Bloodstock and Unsigned show.
Yeah.
That was our whole thing. Monday nights at 9. Yeah. We got so drunk. And
did you get drunk on air?
Fucking, we were 4 beers in before we started, and probably another 6 beers during, and we'd like go, this beer's really nice, and so we go, oh, buy these from la 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 la. Or, you know, these crisps are fucking good. Where did you get those from? And it's like, oh, we got them from the local. And we just, because it was never supposed to be serious, it just became that way. Yeah. Also, very funny that the main listener to that, and he'll love this when he hears this. There was a guy on the chat room called The Beast.
Oh right, okay.
And he's always teased like, oh, you know who I am, but you've forgotten who I am. And Brain's like, I have no fucking idea who this guy is, right? So we'd dedicate songs to him and we'd chat with him on the forums and whatnot, and blah, blah, blah. And Dave's like, you know who he is. You talk to him regularly. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? So I'm not telling you. You're going to have to figure it out. It was fucking Stuart Jessup.
Oh, right, yeah.
Hence the Beast Fest
Stuart
thing.
Jessup.
And when he told me, I went, you bastard. He went, it's just like 3 years of being on the radio. And he went, no, you've only just figured it out, you fucking nitwit.
Just for the audience, Stuart Jessup is the manager at Kent Metal to the Masses.
He is one of
who organises all the
legend.
events and
does the Beast Fest UK events as well, puts on all stuff. He's a magnificent pillar of the metal community. Yeah. Magnificent man. Great hug.
Yes, yeah.
He may try to touch your bum, which is okay. I don't mind.
Okay. I'll bear that in mind.
Well, you're in the final, so if you win, careful where his hands go.
What is TBFM exactly then?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay,
I just joined
it.
No, it was a radio station run by a guy in the Midlands whose name I completely forget. I had a whole bunch
just
of
an
people.
Online thing, was it?
Yeah. It was quite a big deal, as far as I know. Had a couple of people on it who I still am in contact with now, but I haven't heard anything from it. It was a thing I did. It ended in a not entirely amicable way. Dave and I were just like, okay, fine. And that was the end of it. Yeah. Never mind. Some things you just no point in fighting for. If you're trying to fight someone's ego, what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, not everything lasts forever, does it, I suppose?
Yeah, everything has its time.
Yeah. So, also, a few years ago, I know you did this during the COVID pandemic. It was mainly during that, but I think you did it a bit before. You did something called #RiffMonkeyChallenge.
That was entirely during COVID. Which
was on Instagram, and it was a challenge to do a riff a day for a certain period of time, I think.
Brand new, unheard riff that you hadn't done premeditated. You had, the idea was to, essentially it was me trying to get out of a writing rut to do the second Godless album, which I still haven't finished. 6 years later. It was just get out of a rut. So every day I'd give myself 10 minutes of just noodling about on the guitar. And if there was anything that was like, actually, that's pretty good, I'd record it, put the #RiffMonkeyChallenge out there, and then just basically said, if anyone else wants to join in, because we're all stuck indoors for 8-10 weeks, whatever it was, just, these are the rules. No more than 10 minutes pre-practice or production. Put it out there, and let's fill the internet with some interesting music. And like I found there was a place you could go and where the hashtag had been used on a map around the world, and I got to 123 countries.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, never quite went viral. It was always just below that sort of the thing where the algorithm pings you at the stardom.
Well,
but I mean, I've got pals in Kentucky. My buddy Steve Maynard plays for a band now. He's made his band Acromancer.
Right.
Off the back of I was really inspired by this. I got a buddy called Jacob from Greenland. I think it's Greenland or Nova Scotia, one of those really cold, desolate places. I got a buddy in Indonesia I talk to every now and again.
All right.
I got a couple guys, like we sold a bunch of Godless Suns stuff to dudes in like New Zealand and Australia who'd found us from the challenge and gone, oh, this is your band. Oh, I'm going to buy your shit. I'm like, okay, cool. So like when we were allowed out, my first like mail shot was to like the other side of the goddamn world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. It was never intended to be anything other than me making a riff bank.
Yeah.
But you know,
are you considering doing that a little more in the future, going forward?
No, probably not. It's I like to try and be original. But if it's been done, it's been done. Trying to just restoke it, I always think it seems like a grab for more attention, and that's not how I am as a person. Despite the fact I tend to grab a lot of attention.